When you stop looking, everything you ever wanted starts finding you. It sounds like a paradox, doesn't it? Your whole life you've been taught the opposite. They told you to go after what you want, to chase success, love, enlightenment, as if life were a race and the finish line was somewhere far ahead of you. But I tell you, the moment you stop running, the moment you stop seeking, life begins to run toward you. What you were chasing begins to chase you. What you were searching for begins to reveal itself. It is as if existence was waiting for you to become still, waiting for you to drop the madness of seeking. Seeking is tension. It is restlessness disguised as purpose. And I have seen so many seekers all around the world, moving from one master to another, one religion to another, one lover to another, always with the same hunger, the same emptiness. They are not really looking for truth. They are running away from themselves. They are trying to fill a silence inside that terrifies them. And that is why they never find what they seek. Because how can you find the truth if you are escaping it? When you stop looking, you are not giving up. You are waking up. You are realizing that all seeking is rooted in a fundamental lie. The lie that something is missing in you, that you are incomplete, that life as it is not enough. This lie is the seed of all human misery. It creates the beggar inside you, the one who is always asking, always chasing, always unsatisfied. And that beggar has become the face of humanity. Look around. Everyone is looking for something: love, money, fame, power, meaning. And yet no one is at peace. Isn't it strange? Billions of people searching and not one who has arrived. I say to you, stop. Just stop. Sit silently. Do nothing. Let the seeker dissolve. Because when the seeker dies, the sought is born. When the desire disappears, fulfillment appears. This is not philosophy. This is a fact of existence. Have you ever noticed what happens when you stop running after a butterfly? Sometimes the butterfly comes and sits on your shoulder, but when you chase it, it always escapes. Life is like that butterfly, fragile, beautiful, and free. It comes to those who are open, not to those who are desperate. You have been conditioned to believe that life rewards effort, that if you work hard enough, pray hard enough, love hard enough, you will receive what you want. But existence does not respond to effort. It responds to openness. Effort creates walls. Openness dissolves them. When you are open, life can flow through you. When you are tense, life cannot enter. The miracle happens only in relaxation. When you stop fighting the river, you realize you were never separate from it. And perhaps that is the deepest secret. You were never separate from what you seek. You are searching for love, but you are love. You are searching for peace, but you are peace. You are searching for God, but you are divine. The search itself is the barrier. The effort to become something is the very reason you cannot be it. You cannot reach yourself because you are already here. You cannot attain life because you are life. You cannot find truth and because you are truth. But your mind refuses to believe this. The mind needs movement. It needs a goal. It needs to feel that it is going somewhere. The mind survives on becoming. It cannot exist in being. So it keeps pushing you forward towards something better, higher, more spiritual, more successful. It whispers, there must be more. And you obey because you are afraid. Afraid that if you stop moving, you will disappear. And in a way, you are right. You will disappear. But what disappears is not your being. It is your false self. The ego dies and the real arises. That is the beauty of stopping. The world glorifies seekers, the entrepreneurs, the dreamers, the achievers. But I tell you, the real revolution begins when you dare to be still, when you stop searching and start seeing, when you stop running and start being. In that silence, everything that truly belongs to you, love, joy, truth, begins to find you, because they were never lost. You were lost, running too fast to notice them. So if you ask me how to find what you want, I will say, don't find it, let it find you. Sit quietly. Watch your mind. Watch how it trembles when there is nothing to do. Watch how it invents new desires, new goals, new distractions. Watch how it tries to escape this very moment. And if you can simply watch without judgment, without trying to change anything, something miraculous happens. The seeker fades away, and in that emptiness, the universe starts whispering back to you. Because existence has always been ready. It is you who were too busy looking elsewhere. When I say stop looking, I am not telling you to become indifferent. I am not suggesting that you suppress your desires or your curiosity. No, I'm asking you to transform the quality of your looking. The ordinary look is outward. It is filled with hunger, expectation, and fear. It wants to grab something, to possess. The awakened look is inward. It is silent, relaxed, not reaching for anything. It does not seek to own, it simply observes. And in that observation, a strange alchemy happens. What you were chasing begins to come toward you. People often ask me, Osho, if we stop looking, won't life become meaningless? Won't we become passive, lazy? I laugh. Because you have been active for thousands of years, and where has that activity led you? To war, to greed, to anxiety, to loneliness. You have built cities, machines, religions, philosophies, and yet the human heart remains miserable. Your activity has not brought peace. It has only made you forget how empty you are inside. Stopping is not laziness, it is intelligence. It is not passivity, it is awareness. Only in stopping can you see the madness of your movement. You run because you are afraid to stop. You are afraid of silence, because in silence, the false collapses. You are afraid of yourself, because you have never really met yourself. You have met your name, your face in the mirror, your personality, but not your being. And when I tell you to stop looking, I am inviting you into that meeting. To meet yourself without masks, without noise, without the agenda of becoming someone else. This is the beginning of true seeing. Because to see reality, you must first be real. The mind lives in seeking. The heart lives in being. The mind says, do something. The heart says, just be. And your misery comes from listening to the mind for too long. The mind is a servant that has taken the throne. It keeps you chasing shadows. The moment you stop obeying it, you start tasting freedom. You realize that you don't need to conquer life, you just need to allow it. Existence is not something to be achieved, it is something to be received. Look at a flower. It is not seeking to bloom. It simply allows the sun, the wind, the rain. It is in deep trust with existence, and that trust is its beauty. That trust is its fragrance, but man has forgotten how to trust. Man thinks he knows better than life. He plans, he controls, he manipulates, and then he wonders why he is never at ease. You want the river to flow according to your map. You want the wind to follow your schedule. That is why you suffer. You are fighting with the whole. When you stop fighting, you are carried by it. When I stopped seeking, everything I ever desired started arriving on its own, not because I wanted it, but because I was no longer blocking it. Love came, but it was no longer personal. It was not about someone. Joy came, but it was not dependent on any reason. Freedom came, but it was not something to claim. It was just there, like the air. When you stop being a beggar, the universe recognizes you as a king. It opens its treasures, because now you are not asking, you are ready to receive. But receiving requires emptiness. You cannot receive if your hands are already full, and your mind is full. Full of knowledge, full of ambition, full of noise. You pray, but your prayer is full of demands. You meditate, but your meditation is full of expectations. That is not meditation, that is business. You are trying to bargain with existence, but existence is not a marketplace. It gives only to those who are silent enough to listen. It responds only to the language of stillness. Let me tell you, when you stop looking, something subtle happens inside you. Your energy, which was scattered in 1,000 directions, begins to gather. You become centered. You begin to feel a presence, an aliveness that has nothing to do with outer events. Whether things go well or go wrong, that presence remains untouched. You can feel sad, but the sadness no longer defines you. You can feel happy, but the happiness is not a peak. It is a gentle flow. You become the watcher, the witness, and in that witnessing, miracles unfold. But remember, the mind will resist this at every step. It will whisper, you are wasting time. You must do something. You must find meaning. The mind is a beggar that survives on movement. It is terrified of death, and stillness is its death. So when you stop looking, you are killing the mind. You are committing a sacred suicide, and in that death you are reborn, fresh, innocent, whole. This is why I say, enlightenment is not something to attain. It is something to remember. It is already there, hidden under your searching. You are like a man who has been digging for diamonds while sitting on a treasure chest. The harder you dig, the deeper you bury it. One day you stop digging, you sit, you breathe, and suddenly you feel something beneath you. That something was always there. You were just too busy to notice. Humanity has turned the art of seeking into a religion. Your whole civilization is built upon the idea of pursuit. From childhood, you are trained to become Mao, to become successful, to become rich, to become moral, to become enlightened. No one tells you, just be. Even spirituality has become another market. You go from one guru to another, one book to another, one retreat to another, endlessly collecting techniques, practices, words. But tell me, what have you truly found? You may have changed the objects of your seeking, but the seeker remains the same, restless, anxious, hungry. Society depends on this hunger. It keeps the machine running. If you stop seeking, the entire system trembles. Because the system needs you dissatisfied, it needs you comparing, competing, consuming. A contented man cannot be manipulated. A silent man cannot be sold dreams. That is why every advertisement whispers the same poison. You are not enough, and yet you need this car, this body, this partner, this enlightenment. And so you keep running. You become a slave to your own desires, thinking you are free. What a beautiful illusion. When you stop looking, you become dangerous, because you can no longer be controlled. You no longer move according to fear or ambition. You no longer follow the carrot or the stick. You live from a different space, a space of spontaneity, not strategy. And that is something society does not understand. It only knows two types of people, the achievers and the failures. But there is a third type, the one who has dropped the game entirely, the one who simply is. And that is the true human being. I remember once a man came to me, desperate. He said, "Osho, I have tried everything. Meditation, yoga, prayer, but I still feel empty." I asked him, "Why are you trying?" He said, "Because I want to be peaceful." And I laughed. Peace cannot be a goal, I told him. The moment you want it, it disappears, because the wanting itself is tension. You cannot walk toward peace. You can only stop walking. He looked confused, but later, when he finally stopped trying, even for a single moment, tears came to his eyes, because in that pause, he touched the silence he had been chasing all along. The problem is not that you do not find. The problem is that you are looking. Your very act of looking divides the world into seeker and sought, subject and object, you and life. That division is false. There is no you separate from existence. The wave and the ocean are not two. The moment you think of yourself as the wave trying to reach the ocean, you have forgotten you already are the ocean. This is the cosmic joke, the greatest comedy of all existence. The searcher is the searched. But only in stopping can you laugh with it. Look at your modern life. You are always rushing to arrive, to succeed, to be better. Even in relationships, you are never really there. You are waiting for something. The next thrill, the next reassurance, the next moment. You say you are in love, but love for you is a transaction. It is a constant exchange of needs. You are looking for someone to complete you, to validate you. But two beggars cannot share wealth. Only two kings can meet in love. And to become a king, you must stop begging. Stop looking. When you stop looking for love, you discover that love was never outside. It was your very nature. You have been radiating it all along, but your eyes were turned outward, searching for reflections. Once you turn inward, you find an infinite source, a love not dependent on anyone, a joy that no circumstance can steal. Then, if someone comes into your life, you share. You don't cling. You relate out of abundance, not lack. You give because you have too much, and that giving is divine. The same applies to truth, to God, to enlightenment. You have been taught to think of them as distant goals, hidden somewhere in the Himalayas or in some holy scripture. But truth is not hidden, you are. You are hidden behind your own thoughts, your ambitions, your noise. Stop, be still, and truth will find you. God is not waiting for you to climb mountains. God is waiting for you to become silent enough to hear his whisper in the wind, in the song of a bird, in the beating of your own heart. Do you see how ridiculous it is? You are like a man standing in the ocean, dying of thirst. You are surrounded by what you seek. You only need to drop the idea of seeking. The mind says, "But if I don't seek, how will I get there?" There is no there. This is it. This very moment, this breath, this silence, this awareness is the treasure you were born to discover, and the door to it is always open. The only thing keeping you out is your constant attempt to enter. You are knocking on your own door. And you are doing it so loudly that you cannot hear the voice inside saying, "Come in." There is a moment when words stop making sense, when understanding no longer comes through thought, but through silence. When you stop looking, you begin to feel that moment approaching. The mind starts to lose its grip. At first it will panic. It will say, "You are losing control. You are becoming empty." And that is true. You are becoming empty. But that emptiness is not death, it is birth. The mind calls it death because the mind cannot survive without noise. But in that emptiness, for the first time, you are truly alive. When you stop looking, you enter a space of deep receptivity. It is like the stillness of a lake, so calm that even the smallest leaf can rest upon it without a ripple. In that stillness, life begins to mirror itself. You start to see things as they are, not as you want them to be, not as you fear they are, but simply as they are. And this seeing is liberation, because reality, when seen without desire, is pure beauty. You realize that nothing was ever wrong, nothing was ever missing, everything was already complete. But this realization is not intellectual. You cannot read it in a book. You cannot reason your way into it. It comes only when the mind is silent. The silence is the master. The silence teaches what no words can teach. That is why I speak. But my real teaching is between the words, in the gaps. If you can listen to those gaps, if you can feel the stillness behind the sound, then you are already beginning to stop looking. Listening itself can be meditation if you are fully present. People come to me and say, "Osho, I want to surrender." I tell them, you cannot surrender because the one who wants to surrender is the same one who resists it. Surrender happens only when the seeker is gone. It is not an act, it is a disappearance. It is like the melting of ice into water, effortless, natural, inevitable. You don't do it, you allow it. You simply stop holding on. And suddenly everything that you have been searching for, truth, freedom, bliss, surrounds you, fills you, consumes you. You realize you were never separate from it. But the ego is subtle. It will even turn surrender into another goal. It will say, "Look, I am surrendering better than others." Beware of this trap. The ego can hide even in spirituality, especially in spirituality. That is why so many spiritual people are still restless. They have changed the form of their desire, not its essence. They are now proud of their humility, greedy for heaven, competitive in compassion. It is still the same disease, the disease of looking. The object has changed, the obsession remains. When you stop looking, even spirituality disappears, because spirituality itself is a kind of seeking. The truly awakened one is not spiritual. He is simply alive. He has dropped all labels, all roles, all definitions. He does not know who he is, and that not knowing is his freedom. He no longer carries the burden of identity. He has no name, no mission, no purpose. He moves like a cloud, drifting, shining, disappearing. He belongs to no one, yet everything belongs to him. And you ask me, how to live without purpose? My answer is that is the only way to live. Purpose is a substitute for presence. The moment you are fully present, purpose is meaningless. A flower does not bloom for a purpose. It blooms because blooming is its nature. A bird does not sing to achieve something. It sings because the song is overflowing from its being. So when you stop looking, your life becomes like that. Spontaneous, effortless, graceful. You begin to live in tune with existence, not against it. You become part of the dance, not the dancer trying to control the rhythm. And then everything you ever wanted begins to find you. Because you are no longer creating barriers. You are no longer filtering life through fear and desire. You are open, and openness is magnetism. When you are empty, the universe rushes in to fill you. It is not that life suddenly changes, it is that your eyes are new. You begin to see the same world, but now it is luminous. Every leaf, every breath, every stranger carries the fragrance of the divine. You are in the same place, but you live in a different dimension, the dimension of being. The irony is this has always been your natural state. You have not achieved it, you have only remembered it. And yet, the remembering feels like a miracle, because you realize how deeply you had forgotten yourself, how long you had been asleep in the dream of becoming. The dream was never real. It was just a cloud passing through the sky of your consciousness. And now that the sky is clear again, you laugh. You laugh because the whole effort was unnecessary. You laugh because the truth was always here, and that laughter is the final liberation. When you stop looking, everything you ever wanted starts finding you, because you and the universe are no longer two. The division was only in your mind. The seeker and the sought were never separate. They were two sides of the same illusion. Once that illusion drops, life begins to flow through you effortlessly, like breath. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer demand, you receive. You no longer struggle to understand. Understanding blossoms naturally, like spring flowers after a long winter. This is the mystery of existence. It responds only when you stop asking. It reveals itself only when you are quiet enough to listen. The moment you become silent, existence starts whispering its secrets to you. You realize that the trees, the stars, the rivers have been speaking all along, but you were too busy talking to hear them. The divine has always been reaching toward you, but you were too occupied with your own search to notice its touch. Now, in this silence, you begin to feel that touch. You feel life's presence moving through you, not as an outsider, but as your very essence. You realize that every breath is sacred, every heartbeat a prayer. You understand that the ordinary is extraordinary. Washing dishes, walking, breathing, loving, everything becomes meditation. Because now you are not doing, you are being. And in being there is infinite beauty. When you stop looking, you drop the future. You are no longer postponing life. You are no longer saying, one day I will arrive. You see that there is no one day. There is only now. This moment is the door, and it has always been open. You were standing before it with your eyes closed, dreaming of keys. Now your eyes are open, and you laugh. You laugh at the absurdity of your search, at the ridiculousness of your seriousness. Because truth is not heavy. Truth is playful, light, dancing. I'm not telling you to become serious about stopping. That too will become another effort. Let it happen naturally. Just see the futility of seeking. Truly see it, feel it, not as an idea, but as a lived truth. And in that seeing, the search drops on its own. You cannot force relaxation. You can only become aware of your tension. Awareness is the key. Awareness transforms. Try this. Sit silently for a few moments every day. Not to meditate, not to achieve peace, but simply to be. Drop all methods, all goals, just watch. Watch your breath, your thoughts, your sensations, as if you are watching clouds drifting in the sky. Don't interfere, don't judge, don't even call it meditation. Just be a witness. In that witnessing, slowly, something shifts. The search begins to fade. The mind starts losing its urgency, and a quiet joy begins to arise, uncaused, uninvited, free. That is the joy of being. That is what you have always longed for. You were looking for it in people, in things, in gods, but it was hiding behind your own eyes. Now that you are no longer looking outward, you see it everywhere. You see it in the laughter of a child, in the wind touching your face, in the sound of silence between two words. You see it because you are it. So, remember, when you stop looking, you are not losing direction. You are losing illusion. You are not becoming passive. You are becoming available. You are not missing out on life. For the first time, you are entering it fully. You are no longer the one who stands outside, knocking. You are inside, at home. And from that home, love flows without reason. Compassion arises without effort. Understanding shines without seeking. You live simply, joyfully, in tune with the rhythm of existence. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't even need to prove anything to yourself. You are enough, utterly enough. This is the ultimate secret. Stop looking and you will find that there was never anything to find. The treasure was never hidden. The seeker was the sought. The journey was the destination. Now close your eyes for a moment. Feel your breath. Feel the stillness around you. Don't do anything, just be. And let everything that you have ever wanted, peace, love, joy, freedom, find its way to you. It knows where you live. It always has. If these words resonate with you, don't hold them. Live them. Let this be your meditation. Stop searching, start seeing. Stop running, start resting. Stop becoming, start being. And when you truly stop looking, everything will start finding you, because it was never lost.